Our level's good? Check the levels?
Oh.
No, that's not a level, man.
This is the level.
Check. Yeah.
Check. It's actually 6 loud. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. We're going to answer some questions. Where's your phone?
Oh, yeah. All right. Got some questions. See here.
Number 1.
Question number, because we're not going to...
Big guitar tone.
Big guitar tone is the subject. All right, so it says, hey guys, I am getting, sweet grammar, I am getting a massive guitar sound. All right, it's the grammar that threw me off, guys. My tone sounds good when I play by myself, but doesn't sound good when I play with other people or when I try to record it. Okay, how do I get a big sound when I play with other people and when I record? Okay. That's something that...
You talk about live, I'll talk about recording.
Yeah, live. Okay, so you got to let away your ego. 'Cause I had it for so long. That lows knob, that high knob, you know what I mean? And cutting the mids just like you like it. Sounds really good in the old bedroom, right? Does not work when you're playing with the bass and drummer who has hi-hats. Point being, you gotta play with a tone that doesn't sound good just you, but sounds good, fits in all the spots that the other instruments are missing.
At least from the studio side, like, most people think of a massive guitar tone is like, it's not, there's a certain place where you're supposed to be. Like, if you look at a mix, like, there's the super highs. You don't need really highs. Like, it sounds like really cool, but if you scoop those off, you'll leave room for the cymbals, which will make the cymbals cut through. Around 200 hertz is that vocal needs to really be right there, so you need to cut there. Lows, you can have a little bit of lows, but that really needs to be saved for the bass, because it sounds better when the bass hits that stuff. If you can really sculpt your tone so it's sitting right there in the mix. So actually using your Spider, I don't know, you seem to be okay with pedals. The best pedal that you can buy right now is an EQ pedal. And start with something like this. So roll off your highs, roll off your lows. I mean, and then kind of find what works in your mix. And another biggest thing is turn on your gain. I know, it doesn't sound as good. No! So get as much gain as you can have where you have compression. So turn it down as low as you can until you start losing the sustain that you want. And then leave it right there. So get as low as gain as possible. I know. But it will sound better.
All right, yeah, I see what you mean. So one thing that I started doing, mainly when I first started playing in Ambits, under the advisement of Sir Camelot here, was when you have a distortion pedal in front of your amp, just take the gain, put it almost like 10%, 15%.
And it hurts.
And then match it on the other end, so like on volume, put that to 100 minus whatever you had. So like if you have it at 15%, put it at 85% on the volume. And it'll sound pretty crappy when you're doing stuff just you, but when you play with a band, it'll be cool.
Another thing in the studio, real quick. I don't know if you use a mic or you run direct, but start making your tones based on what you hear in the mic, not what you hear from the amp. Because honestly, what you hear from the amp, we typically don't listen to an amp with the speaker right beside us. We listen to it down here, so that's not what the mic's picking up. So play with mic placement and play with changing your tone. Cool.
Sorry, we have a fun question.
We have fun questions.
All right. What should I practice? It's like the opposite of a fun question. But we appreciate it. All right. I'm 16. Sounds like dating profile. And have been playing.
And single.
16 looking
16 white and
age, sex, location. Have been playing guitar for a while, and most people say I'm pretty good, but I really don't practice very much. Okay, so that's on the spectrum of stuff. It's like you got talent, and then you got practice. So you got talent. I like it. I sometimes do scales, but don't really see the benefit in them. I start learning songs, but get bored and start writing my own stuff. Okay. I feel like I'm pretty good, but what can I be better? What should I practice? So essentially, so this is funny. So like, I know if it seems like learning other people's songs. Like, you're obviously super creative. That's cool. Learning other people's songs, it doesn't seem like there's benefit to it. But the thing is, when you're building a vocabulary, essentially when you're a songwriter or improvisation person, creative person, you got to have a vocabulary, right? So your vocabulary consists of what words you're going to say musically. So in order to build that vocabulary, you have to listen to the greats. Which I know sounds boring.
Here's the deal. Like, people say, like, what I need to practice? Oh, I need to learn this. It's like, no, you need to. It depends on what your goal is. If you want to make money in music, learn to play other people's music. If you're trying to express yourself or create art or have your own thing, it's okay to not play other people's music. What you need to do is focus on learning this. If you're gonna, I'm assuming you're trying to write music because based on what you're saying. What you need to do is focus on learning the techniques that you need to express yourself. So, like, if you don't need sweep picking in your music, don't bother learning sweep picking. But if you feel like you're going to use a lot of, like, really tight rhythms, focus on learning songs that have tight rhythms, because that would be a tool for you. What you're saying is that, like, you've gotten to the point where non-musicians think you're good, and musicians probably think you're okay. Honestly, that's pretty easy to get to in most every area of life. To become, like, a painter where you're... Other people who don't paint are like, oh, that's really good, man. And people who don't paint are like, who do paint are like, yeah, that's okay. Crossing the from not good to good is a huge thing, and to do that is going to require a lot of dedication. And if you're okay and you're content with where you are, well, don't practice, man. Practice is a means to an end. And if you're already at the point where you're creating music that you want to create, then you're there and you're good, man. If you feel like you're trying to empower yourself to have tools later on, then you should practice and follow in the footsteps of other people. So if you want to play like Tosin Asabi from Animals as Leaders, look up how Tosin Asabi practices. If you want to play like Devin Townsend, like look up how Devin Townsend practices.
Guitar. Everybody plays guitar very differently. Everybody has a technique. Like Devin Townsend, he's like really hard on the parallel pick, just chugging it down with a palm mute. And then Tosin Abasi's he's tapping and real, technical with it. So no, there's no 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so all I was say, practice what you need to learn to play the things that you want to play and make the music that you want to make. Done. Much more perception of